Hey everyone, Andy Sykes from Singletrack magazine here, and I'm out with the brand new Orange Alpine Evo. Now, for anyone who has followed Orange for any length of time, you will know the Alpine range as big travel bikes. Bikes designed for the Alps and for Whistler. Bikes aimed at riders who want the fastest downhill experience but don't want that downhill bike. The Alpine is traditionally a big mountain bruiser, lots of travel, lots of strength, and really capable on those big mountain rides. Now, most of us though can only ride those big mountains a few days or weeks of the year, and the rest of our riding is here in the UK or at home on local trails. And Orange realized that the traditional Alpine might be a bit too much bike for everyday riding. So they decided to develop a new model, the Alpine Evo. The idea behind the Evo is this bike still has the progressive geometry, the great suspension, and the amount of suspension to handle those big mountain rides, but it's a little bit more playful and efficient. So when you do ride it locally, you never really feel overbiked. The whole idea is you never want to feel overbiked or underbiked, and that's what the Alpine Evo aims to do. Now, it's still a big travel bike. It's still got 160mm travel on the front and 155mm of travel on the rear. So it is still very, very capable in big mountain scenarios. However, Orange have made some changes to this bike to make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more playful on tamer trails. And a lot of those changes happen here at the back end. Now, Orange has moved from its traditional single-armed swing arm to its open swing arm on many of its bikes now. And the Alpine Evo takes that open swing arm to the next step. And it's actually the first asymmetric swing arm from the Orange range. And what I mean by that is the chainstay on the left-hand side, the non-drive side, sits slightly lower than it does on the drive side. That change, as well as changing to the tubing thickness and how the bike is built, increases the overall strength of the back end by 15% and lateral stiffness by 20%. Orange say those changes are enough to make the bike not only stronger at the back end, but also pedal more efficiently. And with a change in pivot position, Orange say that there is less bob when pedaling too. However, the suspension can still soak up small bumps easily. And don't worry about big hits either, because this is the most progressive Orange to date. Orange have changed a lot on this bike to really make it a fun and playful all-rounder. Now, Orange, although their bikes do tend to look very similar to each other, Orange do put a lot of engineering into those bikes, and on closer inspection you can really appreciate what they've done. Considering these bikes are handmade in the UK, they always blow me away. Sure, single pivot design is quite simple, but Orange have really nailed it. There's no reason for them to really change from this. To be honest, every single pivot Orange full suspension bike I have ridden has been a complete joy, and the Alpine Evo is no different. It still has that big travel to get me out of trouble, but it has a sprightly, lively feel. So I never feel like I'm lugging around too much travel with me on my local route. Now, the Alpine Evo is also lighter than previous Alpines. Orange have done that through a thinner wall thickness, but through finite element analysis, FEA for short, Orange are confident that this is still a strong, big bruiser of a bike. You don't need to worry about any issues from that thinner wall thickness. It's still super strong. It's just a little bit lighter than it used to be. Now, this Orange Alpine Evo, being a trail bike or an all-mountain enduro bike, has been designed so you can have tools and a water bottle with you whenever you need them. Under the down tube we've got a water bottle cage, and on the top tube we have a new accessory mount so you can bolt tools to it, so you've always got something with you even if you don't carry a backpack. To keep you riding, Orange have also decided to use the new SRAM UDH rear derailleur hanger on here, and that's a really clever idea. Gone are the days where we all need a special gear hanger depending on our bike. Using the new SRAM UDH rear hanger, it means that if you snap it off or bend it, you can go to any store that has SRAM components and you should be able to find a rear mech hanger regardless of the brand or model of bike you've got. It's a really, really good item to have, and I'm surprised it's taken us so long to have this universal derailleur hanger. This being the limited edition launch version of the Orange Alpine Evo, it comes in this really beautiful green color with some really cool decals across it. You know, some of you may not like them, but personally I really like them. And the specification is incredible. We've got Hope components, we've got Hope Pro 4 hubs, an Evo chain set and a Hope stem, SDG dropper post, SDG orange strange saddle. We've got E13 TRS1 rims, a 1x12 Shimano XT drivetrain, and even 4-piston Shimano XT brakes. So you can get this bike slow and under control really, really quickly. And tell you what, it does get to speed. Even though it's been designed to be more poppy, more playful, more responsive than previous Orange Alpines, this is still capable of some crazy downhill speeds, and to have those big powerful brakes is really, really good to have. In terms of geometry, well, Orange are pretty bonkers when it comes to geometry. This is a size large with a reach of 495 millimeters, a head tube angle of 63 degrees, and an effective seat tube angle of 76. And what that all adds up to be is a nice, slack, long, comfortable bike to ride both up and downhill. 495 millimeters of reach sounds like a lot, but these modern bikes with a steeper seat tube and slacker front end, when you sit down, they actually feel quite compact. It's only when you stand up and you're hitting a steep trail that you feel nicely centered on the bike with plenty of weight over the front, so you can whip it around the corner and get tons of traction on the front end. Another benefit of the Alpine range is the wheelbase. These bikes are pretty long, they've got longer chainstays, so the wheelbase is quite long, and that means when you do get it to speed, it is very, very, very stable. That's enough talking. What we're going to do now is we're going to head to the local trails, we're going to do a bit of riding with some onboard footage, and we'll see how this thing can go.
Let's do the steeper of the two. So this is the Orange Alpine Evo. This is a 27.5 inch wheeled light enduro bike, I'm going to call it, but in reality it's just like the Alpine. It's got lots of travel, it's very, very capable, it's just a lot lighter and more agile with new kinematics, more progressive suspension, new tube set, new back end. Might look like an Orange, but it's all new. So the idea behind the Evo is to make an Alpine that's more capable, and also, oops, wrong line. Sorry, say that again. The idea of the Alpine is to make a bike that doesn't make you feel overbiked when you're on the tame stuff, but it also handles the big stuff too. Now Orange have done this by giving the bike a lighter frame set, a stiffer rear end and stronger rear end, more effective and more efficient pedaling, a more progressive back end, 160 mil travel on the front, 155 on the rear, and new tubes made the overall bike way lighter. The result is a bike that climbs way better than before and descends just as well, although I'm doing a really bad job of it today. Angles on this, we've got 63 degree head angle, I think, 76 degree effective seat tube angle. We've got 495 mil reach on this size large bike. Might feel big, they sound big, but when you get to a corner like that, it's so good to corner. Oh my god, I felt like I was on rails then. Now I've been riding this for a few weeks, and I've got to say, if I could only have one bike, I think this is it.
So I've had the Orange Alpine Evo now for a few weeks, and I've got to say I'm really, really impressed with what Orange has done. They've taken their big travel, burly Alpine descender, and they've created something that you can ride pretty much anywhere. You can still take it to the Alps on your holidays, you can still ride it at Whistler, at Duffy, at Revolution, but that new progressive rear suspension, the lighter weight frame, the more efficient back end means you can ride it pretty much anywhere and you never feel like you're lugging around too much bike. I've been really impressed, more so than I thought I was going to be honest. Now, I've always loved single pivot orange suspension bikes, but the Alpine Evo has got to be my favorite so far, and that's saying something. As someone who is a full-on 29er convert, I have been blown away at how good the Alpine Evo is. On my local descents, it has been a pure joy. It's very lively, it's poppy, it has the travel, but what really impresses me is when you're in the air, you can maneuver the bike, you can flick it around because of that newer, lower weight. But then when you land and hit those big rocks, you still have all that travel to gobble everything up and keep you going. The long reach, the slack front end means cornering on steep trails is just mind-blowing. It is absolutely amazing. Now, it's not all perfect. You still have to put your bottle under the down tube, so I just prefer to shove it in my bag. And it does bob a little bit on the climbs, but to be fair, the suspension does sit much higher, and I've just let it bob away as it does. And to be fair, on the climbs, it's felt really good. Again, better than I expected. Today, for example, when I'm filming this, I thought I'll just nip out and just do one loop. And it's such a good climb, I ended up doing 4 loops of my local trails. And, you know, I wish I'd stayed out for longer because it's absolutely pure fun. Anyway, the Orange Alpine Evo is out now. It's available over at Orange as a limited edition build. Head over there for more information. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to Singletrack. And if you've got any questions about this video or any other video, head into the comments and let me know. Thanks for your time, guys. See you all soon. Bye.